The Israeli military has developed powerful psychological brainwashing techniques that are highly effective on targeted groups of individuals. One such group is religious Christians. So the way it works is that they find someone who is politically significant, and they basically tell that person that you have a lot of very nice, impressive accomplishments, but the really big accomplishment in your life could be having your name written in the book of life for helping to restore ancient Israel to the modern world to fulfill the biblical saga. So that sounds like a big deal, getting your name written in the book of life. But then they say that, the big guy, he knows what you're thinking. So if you're not being loyal to Israel, then your name isn't going to be written in the book of life. And you'll spend the rest of eternity wishing that you had supported Israel. So that's why you see this bizarre reaction where people who normally have a balanced view of justice, or basically a balanced view, they flip out and go off the deep end supporting Israel. Because what happens is whenever Israel does something that's obviously wrong, then it triggers the programming that they have to be loyal to Israel. So the brainwashing is what you're listening to. Another group is American Jews. So the way the brainwashing routine works is they tell American Jews that, you should feel guilty that you're not doing enough for Israel. You have a nice, comfy life here in the United States, but what about Israel? A lot of people like to think that the United States is number one in the world, but what about Israel? Shouldn't Israel be number one? What are you doing to help Israel? Then the other thing they do is they make American Jews paranoid about rising anti-Semitism. What would happen if anti-Semitism gets out of control and you have to leave the United States and take refuge in Israel? Will Israel be able to defend you? What are you doing to make sure that Israel is strong enough to defend you? There are many other Jews who have had to flee where they live, and they rely on Israel to defend them. So what are you doing to make Israel strong? So there's various brainwashing techniques. The third one is actually Israelis themselves. So the reason why both men and women have to serve in the Israeli military is because that way both the men and the women get brainwashed, so that they believe that they're in a perilous fight for survival with helpless Palestinians confined to their political concentration camps. I mean, for example, let's look at the 10/7 massacre, where Hamas terrorists murdered over 1,000 people in Israel. Well, it turns out that they had inside help from the government of Israel, which is really sad. It turns out that Israel had squadrons of Apache attack helicopters sitting on the tarmac at Ramon Air Base, 15 minutes away from where people were being murdered. And they just sat there on the tarmac. There was a case where they did send a helicopter with 20 troops from another air base, but they didn't send any air support. Apache attack helicopters are excellent for giving close air support, and so a bunch of those soldiers died, and their helicopter was destroyed on the ground. So it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But the Israeli people are so brainwashed that they don't realize that just like Hamas serves the oil interests of Iran as Iran's proxy, Israel serves the oil interests of the largest oil producer in the world, the United States, as the proxy of the United States. And because these oil interests have a common goal of keeping oil prices from falling, then these two proxies work together to create tension in the Middle East. And that's why Israel let Hamas completely massacre its citizens. And that way that there would be a big death toll, and then Israel could pretend that this was an excuse for creating a massive conflict in the Middle East to keep oil prices from falling. So that's sad. So right now, what's been happening is that gas prices have been plummeting, but oil prices have been staying up because of the Middle East conflict. Otherwise, they would be very low. Joe Biden wants to keep oil prices above $100. With President Trump, he was happy with $20 a barrel. So, Trump is not he's not a proxy for oil interests. We can say that much for him.